Hello everyone, Gene here with G Squared Tactical. We're going to be taking a look today at the Sig Sauer M11-A1 variant of the P229. The M11 compact service pistol is the U.S. military's variant of the Sig Sauer P228. I've never had a 228, but that's what this is. It's now retired from civilian duty. The 228 can still be found in holsters of military and law enforcement and investigative agencies, as well as security personnel and air crews of the U.S. Air Force. In spite of its Army designation, ironically, the Navy was the first branch to adopt the P228 in 1989, the same year Sig introduced this model. The overall weight on this is 29.6 ounces, unloaded of course. The overall length is 7.1, overall height is 5.4, overall width is 1.5, sight radius is 5.7, and our trigger pull, I know that the website says differently, but our trigger pull, with our trigger pull gauge on the double action, this gun is safe. On the double action was around 10 pounds, and the single action, for us anyway, was about 4 pounds. There was a couple times it was like 3.8, 3.9, but on average it was about 4 pounds. Barrel material is carbon steel. The frame is alloy. Frame finish is hard coat ionized, and the slide material is stainless steel. Now that we got all the pertinent information out of the way, let's talk about what I do and don't like about it. This was on a Black Friday special at a local gun store. I can't say that I've ever saw it. I want to say that I have, but a lot of these 22, 226, 229, a lot of these models, they all look the same to me. So maybe I thought I was looking at a 226 and it was actually, I don't know. I'm just saying that we walked in, it was on a Black Friday special. These things usually run around $1,000 to $1,200 depending on where you go. They had it on a Black Friday special for $7.99, or no, I'm sorry, $7.49. So I couldn't necessarily turn that down. I told my wife, I said, I'm just going to go buy this gun for a potential investment opportunity because the price is so low. We walked in there, they had it up in the showcase, in the Black Friday showcase there, and my wife looked at it and she said, oh man, that thing is sexy. You know, I don't know if I agreed in that moment, but that's what she said. She said that thing is sexy. I said, well, let's take it home then. I mean, if you think it's sexy, it must be sexy. I mean, look who you chose for a husband. You know what I'm saying?
I'm here to pick up Casey, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm awake and I speak English, so yeah, I do know what you're saying.
So, I got it, brought it home. I immediately realized that it has the left-hand thread on the 1/2 by 28 threaded barrel, which sucks because I couldn't directly thread my suppressor on there, and that sucked. So I had to buy this adapter, left hand to right hand thread adapter, but it did come with the thread protector, as did the original, or it came in the box with the left hand thread. It also came with a thread protector. So I got two thread protectors. One if I take this adapter off, and just use the one that came in the box. But kind of looks even more sexy with the adapter on there. So I kind of like that look. Anyway, got that on there. That sucked. Wish, you know, for the ones anyway that they're selling in the States, maybe they could just, it seemed to me like it'd be a simple thing to change that thread pattern. But anyway, it is what it is. But I also did, once I got my suppressor screwed up on there, I realized that the low Sig Light night sights that came on here, which again, that's something new from the original, but it did come with the night sights, but they were the low profile, and you could not in any way come close to seeing over top of your suppressor. So, of course, I got suppressor height sights from Sig, slapped them old girls up on there. It is 3-dot, looks white during the day, glows green at night. And this does have a decocker way up here. So just going with the negatives, the thread on the threaded barrel being the left hand instead of right, having to buy an adapter, being a threaded barrel, not having suppressor height sights. Also, as I was shooting this, I'm not sure if I got it on camera. I don't know. I mentioned it during the range review. Not sure if it actually happened, because by that time I had realized what was going on and was making an adjustment with my thumb here to rest it right here rather than up on the slide like I typically will, because with the slide lock protruding so far off of the grip here and being so far to the rear, with this decocker being right behind the trigger guard, it wasn't locking back on the empty magazine. And understand that when you're out at the range, there's a lot of other people there, and you're shooting and you expect it to go off and it's on an empty magazine, and you kind of get that embarrassing, that number there. We all do it, don't act like you don't. So that kind of sucked. I was looking for some type of, I guess, different setup, and I couldn't get anything definitive online. Maybe you guys can help us out. Follow us on Facebook if you have this and you've got some type of different grip setup or a different slide lock setup or something where you can hold it like you traditionally would and it still locked back on the empty mag. I don't know. Could not find anything definitive. So for now, I just simply altered my grip. So that would be the third negative. So we got the thread situation, the low sights, and the slide lock sticking off the frame. What looks like a solid close to a freaking 1/4 inch. I mean, it's really hanging out there. So the fourth negative for me would be the fact that it had those gawky, cheap looking flathead screws in the grip here. And I just hate that, because if you have to adjust it, it never fails. You're going to butt that up every time. So I ordered these Torx screws off of, I believe it was eBay. They got the Sig wrote through the screw. It's pretty sexy looking. Everybody that looked at it said they really, really like it. But it is old plastic grips here. Don't think that is a G10 grip. They're kind of plastic. When you squeeze real hard, you can kind of feel them moving around. You can flex. You can feel them flexing. Maybe I'm just real strong. I don't know. But the mag release, you're not going to be able to. I mean, it's close. It's close. I mean, I can mostly do it without adjusting my grip, but I'm not really going to call that a complaint. I wish maybe it was cut out a little better through the grip here so that you could more easily manipulate that. Did come with 15 round magazines, and they have the Sig Sauer logo on the side, or brand, with P229-1. Does have front strap checkering, and then of course the grip comes all the way around the back. Now there are a lot of different grip options out there. If you didn't like these, I'll tell you why I kept these on here in just one second. It does have the lanyard loop at the back. Huge trigger guard. The more rounded forward setting trigger there, which I'm okay with. I'm not really a huge fan these days of all these flat triggers unless it's on a 1911, because my fat meaty sausage fingers always end up getting caught between the bottom of the trigger and the trigger guard, just messing up my shooting and also giving me a nice blood blister on my finger. So in most cases, you guys can keep those flat triggers. Doesn't have a light rail. They do make this in a newer model, or should I say a different model, that does have the light rail out front here and the Hogue G10 grips and everything. But this is the more traditional. It is kind of a copy, if you will, or almost a direct copy of the military 228, as I've already mentioned, with just a few little updated features like the night sights and the threaded barrel, and just a few little added things on there. But this is as close as you're going to get without actually having a 228. Takes down just like all the other Sig models. Lock the slide to the back, push the lever. That would be clockwise, slide it right off, don't have to pull the trigger. I really like that, like on the FNs and so forth. So those are all good. Now I'll tell you why I'm leaving these grips on here. I bought this not to put on the nightstand, carry around in the truck, any of the above. I bought it for its historical significance and you know, the old school look of Sig, if you will. And that was basically it, and the fact that it was $7.49 on a Black Friday special. But I'll say this, and I don't say this often about anything Sig. The only Sig that I have that I carry all through the summer, as you guys know, anybody that watched the channel, is my Sig P938. I pocket carry this probably 7 months, 8 months out of the year. I carry this a lot, so I do like this gun. This is one of my favorite, if not my absolute favorite, Sig Sauer pistol. And other than that, I don't have a whole lot of Sigs in here. I have a P320 RX with the Romeo mounted, which, if I'm being honest, if my wife would not have gotten me that for a Christmas gift, I probably would sell it because I just don't like it. I don't really like any of the P320s. Other than that, I have a 365 chambered in 380. I did really like that, but Sig, that was the only gun that Sig's ever actually sent the channel, so I just kept it for that reason, for sentimental reasons, I guess. But other than that, I'm not really a huge fan of Sig. I don't really like their triggers. I never have. It's kind of like FN for me. I don't like FN triggers. There's really never been anything about Sig that I've really liked. I don't like how they look. A lot of times they're like FN, they're overly bulky. Never been a huge fan of some of their gritty triggers. I don't like the triggers on the 365 XL or any of that stuff. Leave me some hate mail, that's fine. Everyone is different. Everyone likes something different. I've just never been a huge fan of anything Sig except for the 938. But that being said, this thing was actually a ton of fun to shoot. And once I got that figured out to where my point of impact on the target is not just above my front sight, but literally the front sight over what you're aiming at, which I hate. But once I figured that out, this thing was nasty accurate. And grouping was absolutely phenomenal. And for a decocker, a lot of times the reason why CZ and them guys don't put decockers on their guns is because it messes with the trigger. Usually the models without the decocker have better triggers. But I will say, with this being a decocker model, that the double action trigger pull on this thing has got to be the absolute smoothest and lightest. I wouldn't say lightest, but maybe lightest, I don't know. But that thing is super smooth. There is literally no grit. There's no place throughout that travel where it kind of gets lighter, stiffens back up, lightens up again. I mean, it's very predictable, very consistent travel on that. And man, it breaks right when you would expect it to break. I mean, it is a very nice double action trigger for a gun that has a decocker on it, okay? And the reset on this, that has got to be the shortest reset on a double action trigger with a decocker that I have ever seen. I mean, that reset is insane. That reset is almost like a Walther PPQ or a Canic trigger, which is basically a Walther, or a Jonic, whatever, basically a Walther clone. That reset is absolutely insane. Like it not only is it super short, but it's very tactile in that it's very audible. I'm sure you can hear that on the camera. Very audible, feels like it's pushing back on your finger. So it's very tactile. You can feel it, you can hear it. Just a super short reset. And that's why, you know, typically on your decocker models, like on your FNs and stuff like that, the trigger is not that good, and it is lessened because of it having a decocker. And that's why a a lot of times people opt to switch over or to just simply buy a single action only pistol. Phenomenal trigger in this gun, phenomenal accuracy, phenomenal grouping, just a ton of fun to shoot. I was thoroughly shocked by this thing, and I actually really do like it, and I think Trey does as well. Trey really likes shooting it as well. Neither one of us was immediately accurate with it, but I started dialing it in as I shot with it more, like you would with anything, I suppose. But I really like everything about the way this thing looks, the old school significance. Again, had to change the sights, put an adapter on here, the slide lock, the torch screws. Mostly small things, except for the sights, of course. They were a little bit expensive. But I bought this adapter for like $8 or something, not a huge deal. In the box, it came with 3 15-round magazines, I think is what I said. It does have the nice Sig box here. 3 15-round magazines. Yeah, there's 2 more. There is the thread protector for the left-hand thread that was on there. All of your information. Sticker. And here are the original sights. Well, I've already stapled over the product number on here, so if anybody wants to know exactly what sights I ordered, just let me know and I'll put that in the comment section. And you guys comment. But nice padded case here, just like you see on most Sig pistols. Anyway, just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about it today. On that trigger pull, like I said, they said the single action was 4.2. There were a couple of times we were getting like 3.8, 3.7. It is a very, very light single action trigger pull. And it says 10 pounds on the double, and it may be 10 pounds. I mean, but I just can't get over it. Usually on a double action trigger, if you sit there and you pull it back really slow, you get this, not only do you get this grit, but you get this feeling that the trigger may be moving side to side. You get these moments throughout the travel where it feels like it gets lighter and then stiffens up again. This is a very smooth double action trigger, and that reset, I just can't get over that. It's like the trigger doesn't come forward at all. It is a phenomenal, phenomenal reset. Does it feel great in the hand? Well, I got small sausage fingers, so for me, it's not the best feeling in the hand. It's a little bit thick through the grip, but like I said, if you did want to carry this for some reason and you didn't want to get the model with the light rail, they do make a lot of grip options on Hogue. So go over there and check those out. I'm sure I missed out on something. Anytime you do a Sig pistol, you run the risk of those rabid Sig people jumping all over you about something. But if I miss something, we'll have a educated debate about that. You know, just keep the comments civil. Ask any questions you might ask. We always get back with everyone. We'll answer your questions. If I left anything out, I do apologize. Just wanted to talk a little bit about this gun today. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Tell all your friends and family where they can find the best blue-collar reviews on guns on YouTube, anywhere. And have a very blessed day and a Merry Christmas.